Welcome back guys, so in this video we continue on rebuilding the subframe. We continue on from the last video where we were installing the drop links. So now, okay, I've told the people on the internet about this. Right, Pebbles, leave me alone. So now continuing on with the build, so next is the bottom ball joints. So as you can see, these have been used, they're a little bit old, but they're actually brand new. I think they literally just were lying on a shelf and that's why they got rusted. So this is an old one. This one definitely was used. So to know if they're worn out or not, you can move that with your thumb, like as easy as I'm doing. It's worn out. Second thing is you can lift it up and down. That's 100% worn out. So if you're driving, you'll hear this going dun, 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 dun. So there's a ball in there, and basically it's like in your shoulder blade. If your shoulder popped out, same idea, that this is just jumping up and down, and yeah, it's totally loose. There's the cat watching out for mice. Anyway, so that one there is worn out. This one here, you can see how much force I have to put into it. And the other thing is, if you hold it there, you shouldn't be able to turn that. Or on this one here that's worn out, I can easily spin that with my hand. You can see that it's just turning there. Yeah, it takes very little effort just to turn that, like it's just spinning. Like that one's totally worn out. This one's solid. You're not going to turn that. I'll show it to you. Nope. This is a hub from a G60 Corrado or a 16 valve or a GTI, all Mark II. I think Mark III might be the same. So this is where your brakes go on, and these are 100mm apart. And this is one from a Vento, and it has smaller brakes, and you can see that the actual carrier is built into the hub. So this one 100% will not do. If you want to run decent brakes, you need this setup here. That just won't carry it because obviously the carrier is built in. So that one can't be used, this one can. And if you use a wide track for a VR6, it's the same setup, but I think this might have a slight bend to it, and this one here, the center shaft where your drive shaft goes through, is a bigger diameter. So if you want to run a 16 valve drive shaft, you have to use the 16 valve hub because I want 4x100. And if you wanted 5x100, you can use the bigger diameter drive shafts, and then of course this base here would be bigger. What I did think originally I could do was use a VR6, since all of this is VR6 and there's a VR6 engine, a VR6 running gear, use all of that, tap the center out and tap the center of the 5x100 out and tap in the 4x100. So it means I'd have a full VR6 running gear, everything the same, just the actual hub at the other side would be 4x100 rather than 5x100 because all my wheels are 4x100. And what I found out afterwards was, of course, the diameter here is actually wider, so the drive shaft is actually wider. I think what you could do is take out the outer CV joint, so it would be a wider one, take out that, put a narrow one into it, for the outer CV joint, then use the narrow one of this, and it might swap over. I'm not actually sure whether that would actually work or not, because you could find other problems that you mightn't be able to turn the car and have different lock and all that kind of stuff. So I figured this was just a simpler way to do it, just turn everything to 4x100 or a narrow track. Right, on we go. Now the hub. So that's my hub, all painted up. There's a grub screw there to hold on your disc. They're quite common to shear off, so unfortunately this one has indeed shearing off. So what I found the best way to get it out is to get a blowtorch, heat it, redden it, and then just tap it around with a chisel. Or try get an electric arc welder and just weld into the center each time and just build up a little piece. And then you can weld, and then you can hold it with pliers and just wind it out. Not a big job. So I have a brand new bearing all installed. I use FAG or FAG bearings. Don't know whether they're any better than anyone else, but I've heard of that brand and the other ones I didn't hear of, so I use them. And they're my nuts. These are for brakes, these are for your suspension, so it's ready to go on, and the ball joint will go in here. So we're back at it, and that's the bottom ball joint now installed. And and I have new hardware, so that's a new bolt. Again, your brakes will be here, so I left the studs in, so you don't put it in this way, you put it in this way. So when you go to release it, you don't have to take off your brakes, you can just undo this, tap that back, and it should come out easy enough. Okay, so this is now ready to be installed into the wishbone. So you can see the gap just underneath. That's where this ball joint here, that this assembly is going to go. So the reason why I didn't paint it is, one, you'll never see it, and two, it's to let it slide, so it does have to slide in and out through there. So you can see at the very top, there's oblong or oval shaped holes. This is to help you set your tracking. So you'll have both tracking to set your camber up here and down here. And one can adjust against the other, but you need both of them to be able to set it correctly. So next question is, do you put the bolt in at the top or from underneath, or do they drop down like that? So if they drop obviously down like that, if they came loose, it wouldn't fall out, which would hold this in place. But the problem with that is, when you go to service it, so if you have to replace this, you now have your anti-roll bar, your brakes, everything are going to be in the way. It's much easier from underneath, and is the correct way from Volkswagen, so that's why you put them underneath. So you just climb in underneath the car and you undo the 3 bolts. So again, I put a little bit of copper grease underneath, so just to help it slide. When you're doing your adjustment for your alignment and your camber, it's to help it like that. So small little bit, doesn't have to be loads, just has to be enough just to help it to move a little bit, but you don't want to smear loads of it on either, because it'll attract dirt. Okay, brilliant. So that's now the 2 hubs all back on again, there and there. And the next thing to look at is the steering rack. So this is the 2 track rod arms, and this is wide track and this is narrow track. There's the 2 balls. Well, the other one's inside the boot. This boot ripped on me, so it's stopping up about here. So this ball here is actually up here. So this one is longer, this one's shorter, and that would be right, because that's narrow track, that's wide track. So my original plan was this shaft here also goes all the way in here, so cut off maybe 1 centimeter, then get a tap and die, tap all of this down here, and then I could just wind this back in. But I kind of figured, you know what, it'd be just super easy. Just put a new boot onto it, that's super easy job, and just use the narrow track. Don't bother cutting, modifying anything. They actually do come out very easy. It's a 32 here, and you just wind it out, get this one, just pull the boot all the way back. It's fairly dirty, this thing, and wind it back in, and yeah, super easy. So that would go not into this one, or the narrow track, sorry, actually this one. It would go back in here, and it's actually going to end up probably about there. There's very little in the difference, but that's my plan. So that's now the wide track steering rack with the narrow track rod arms all rebuilt. So now to install it into the subframe. There you have it, guys. That's it all now rebuilt back into the subframe. I have the steering rack attached, and that's it. So as always, guys, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Support me on PayPal if you can, the link below. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.